back here with us on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, the aviation regulator, is investigating a fire in a tractor that was being prepared to push back an Air India Airbus A320 aircraft at Mumbai airport earlier during the day. No injuries were reported and there was no damage to the Air India plane as well, which eventually took off for Jamnagar after a slight delay. However, there were about 85 passengers on board, and clearly many experts are calling it a narrow escape for these particular passengers. Let's understand from our guests who are joining us on the broadcast this evening as to what could be the reason behind the fire that we saw in this towing tractor. We have Captain Amit Singh, founder, Safety Matters Foundation, who's also an aviation expert, joining us. Air Commodore B, Siwach, retired Director General, Aviation Safety Management Society of India. Thank you very much, both of you gentlemen, for joining us here on Mirror Now. Air Commodore B, Siwach, let me begin the discussion with you. What will you make of the incident, in fact, that was reported from Mumbai airport today? What could really be the reason of something like this, a tow tractor catching fire?
You see, it appeared to a very freak incident, which definitely could have resulted in a major catastrophe if the fire had spread and got to the aircraft, because that is the area where there are so many fuel trucks and other aircrafts are parked and moving around. So it could have been serious, but then it was timely, fire was extinguished and the major incident or accident was averted. So we must compliment the people on the air side at the apron area who responded very professionally and were able to extinguish the fire within a very short time. But definitely this kind of incidents are not acceptable on the air side, where apron, so many aircrafts are parked and moving around, and there are refueling vehicles and refueling connections. So one had to be very careful. But I suppose maybe it is the tractor was not well maintained, possibly. And I think it was a very, very rare freak incident. And timely action by the staff on the apron have prevented what could have been a major catastrophe. So one had to be very careful in allowing vehicles or the tractors or any other vehicles on the apron area, and they have to be well maintained and in good condition. And obviously the people at the apron have to be very, very alert, vigilant, and should respond immediately if this kind of occurrence takes place. So it was, I think it was one of the rare incidents. It's not a very frequent, but could have been a major serious, could have resulted in a serious accident. So job well done by the ground staff.
You're saying that it was a freak incident, okay? But it could have become a big accident as well. Okay, Captain Amit Singh, I was just getting some information. We are being told that showing presence of mind. In fact, one of the employees drove a baggage tractor to push this burning tractor further away from the aircraft, and that probably helped us save the lives of the people who were inside the aircraft. How do you see this incident, and how serious was it in your opinion?
Well, all's well that ends well. So nothing was damaged except for the tractor. The aircraft was safe, occupants were safe. In the past, there have been two such incidents. 2017 in Singapore, the Singapore Airlines Boeing 777, the tug was just under the aircraft. Fortunately, the aircraft was being towed and there was a massive fire. The entire nose of the aircraft got burnt. Next, in 2018, Lufthansa, similar 340, Airbus 340. Again, the aircraft was being towed. This was the only incident in which there were 85 occupants and crew on board. And I must commend the crew for handling the situation, seeing a live fire in front of them. Had they ordered an evacuation, it would have been a big mess. So I must commend the crew for being there in the situation with presence of mind and in the absence of any direct communication with the crew on ground. Now, if you look at fires on ground, fires do not happen because of flames getting in contact with fuel. It is the fumes. So there are always fumes present around the aircraft or the refueling area if the aircraft has been refueled in the recent past, or the aircrafts around, even around. So the winds can carry the fumes to the flames and they can further aggravate the situation. If you see the videos, the winds are carrying the flames away from the aircraft. So it is the smoke, which is the fastest killer, and the fire, which causes the smoke. So even if the aircraft the tractor was not in contact with the aircraft, the smoke could have been ingested, and it is the cabin which gets affected where people are trapped. So smoke can kill in basically in seconds. ICAO, the international regulator, says for effectiveness of rescue firefighting facilities and the prevention of fires, the basic aim and objective is to save lives. If you see, there was no ambulance around. Even though the fire tender came, there was no ambulance around. So people who were closest to the fire could have got affected, or maybe, God forbid, if there was an explosion in the tractor, people could have got injured. So there was no ambulance around to save lives in the eventuality, or the aircraft. The two main things are training of personnel and the communication and effectiveness of timely, the speed at which the fire tenders reach the aircraft or the incident area. Now, training, everybody is trained. We see in the videos that 2 fire extinguishers have been discharged before the fire tenders came. And people are discharging the fire,
Right.
the extinguishing agent at the top of the flames, where they're supposed to do it at the bottom, where the source is. So if you
Okay.
do it at the source, then the fire extinguishes fastest. That is the training aspect. So probably they were not aware of this aspect, so they were shooting it at the top of
So
the fire,
what
where
can
the
we
fire was
expect,
coming
Captain
out from the
Amit Singh,
tractor.
in the investigation that's going to happen? What can we expect now in the investigation that's going to happen? What are the aspects that will be looked into? Very quickly.
The investigation goes into the root cause. What actually caused the fire? Was it the maintenance of the tractor, or was it some leak, fuel leak, and the fuel came in contact with some hot engine parts? So what was the exact cause? And the maintenance history of the tractor, even though they are certified by different agencies as per safety standards, even the ECA may have certified them, but the training of the personnel and the maintenance of the tug, that is the two important things. The fire tenders, how fast did the fire tenders reach, and was there a communication lag between?
Okay.
They're supposed to reach within 3 minutes to the apron. So was that 3 minutes achieved or not? So that is the effectiveness of the firefighting, and
Okay.
the root cause will determine what exactly caused, basically.
Okay. Commodore B.S. Siwach, now you called it a freak incident, but it could have been serious, but thankfully it was a narrow escape. Do you think probably the tractor itself could have been old, that could have led to an incident of this sort?
Yeah, most of these points have been covered by Captain Amit Singh very well. So there could have been some maintenance-related problem. There have been may have been fuel leak, some short circuit, sparking in the tractor. So all these are probable causes. So the investigation will go into the root causes. First of all, why the fire occurred, and after the fire occurred, what was the response of the firefighting agencies, the emergency rescue and emergency agency, And a very valid point, which again highlighted by Captain
Okay.
Amit Singh, was the ambulance. Normally, when you give a call, an ambulance generally should be coming along with the fire tender. That is the normal procedure and standard operating procedures. So that was, I suppose, was not. I haven't seen the video, but what Captain Amit Singh said, that ambulance was not there. Definitely, it's a very valid point. And ambulance should have been there. If there any casualty, then the delay would have been very serious. So in this particular case, yes, I said freak incident, and Captain Amit Singh talked about two more incidents which is aware of them. So as I told you, this is a very rare, not very common, because vehicles at the apron are supposed to be well maintained and kept in a very good condition.
Okay.
So that's why it becomes a very freak kind of incident. And definitely the people on the ground, the rescue firefighting facilities and the other crew were available. They responded in a very, very professional and effective manner. And they're able to control the fire and avert a major maybe disaster.
Well, absolutely, it was. That's why we are saying a narrow escape indeed for all the 85 passengers who were inside this particular aircraft. The plane was for Jamnagar. It took off about 2 hours later because this incident took place around 10:45 a.m. this morning. Captain Amit Singh, Air Commodore B, Siwach, I appreciate both of you for joining us here on Mirror Now and explaining to our viewers what could have been the reason behind this kind of an incident at Mumbai airport. Thankfully, all the passengers were absolutely safe. At DGCA, the aviation regulator, has now ordered an inquiry as well to ascertain the cause as far as this fire is concerned. With this, we will slip into another very, very short break. There's lots lined up for you on the other side as well. Stay with us.